2.5 years ago, the Diocese of Exeter made a radical decision. And the decision was to release £1 million from the diocese reserves to enable parishes and mission communities to take on a new project that was going to reach out in their local community to get to know their neighbours better and to share something of the hope that's within them, of the love of God, with people who simply come nowhere near the church usually. And we've got some stories to tell you.
St Muda parish is on the edge of Plymouth, and it's got some pockets of quite extreme poverty in it. It's been described as inner city with nice views, and it's in really the 10% poorest communities in the country. And we were really wanting to open a debt counselling centre, but that we knew was going to cost quite a lot of money to pay for a worker, probably for 2 days a week, and to pay the expenses of the team in Bradford who do all the legal work and actually work out the budgets. The diocese announced £1 million for mission, so really we were quite pleased to be able to apply, and even more delighted when we knew that we had a grant of over 90,000, which would help us both develop the hall to be a centre in the community and to develop CAP, Christians Against Poverty, and to work with them for the next 3 or 4 years, not just as a one-off, but to really grow it and sustain it. And what we've found as we started out on this journey of reaching out to the poor is that God seems to have brought other people along to us, and we've seen new people becoming Christians from completely outside the life of the church, and it's been a great journey which has really encouraged people in the church, because to see new people coming to faith with a new enthusiasm has been a fantastic blessing, and it really has made an impact.
We are a donation-based cafe, and we have in through the door each day typically between 80 to 100 people. And we began in 2011 simply by opening the doors and putting the kettle on. We knew that we needed some financial backing to help to make it grow, because we wanted to have the project open 6 days a week. And so we applied for the $1 million for mission money, and in April 2011 we were delighted to receive a cheque for just over £15,000. It has helped to resource the living room with equipment, with training, and also with some improved facilities, as well as some other work that's going on around the plant to make the place really accessible. And it has given us immense confidence to be able to get on and do what God has called us to do. What we do is we welcome people, and they are homeless, addicts, single mums, tourists, business people, and everyone in between, and just show them a little bit of love and grace. But also alongside that, they can then access a whole load of services. So through the week we'll have the police, we'll have community safety in through the door, the street wardens, as well as a whole raft of other agencies come through to be able to meet their clients in a safe and non-threatening environment.
It helped me along my journey. I was an alcoholic, and I got involved with the living room, which helped me in recovery, and also helped me because I was homeless at the time, and it helped in finding a place, and support is tremendous that you get from there. The living room has had a tremendous effect on us as a church family community, not only because it's enabled us to work in partnership with 2 other churches, but also because a number of people who have come through the living room have come through to become members of the church family, have been baptised, and actually what's happened is the whole flavour of our church family has changed, and it's stopped being about them and it's become about us as a one church family. So yeah, it makes a big difference in people's lives, and I've seen a lot of people turn around through coming and using the living rooms, so yeah, it's a great place to come and be.
That's all right.
The diocese was advertising $1 million for mission, so we applied for £13,000, and we were delighted that the money was given to us as we pay rent for the premises, and we also needed some money to equip the area where we weigh out and distribute the food. And hopefully we're making very good use of it. Certainly the people who come to the food bank are extremely grateful.
Yeah, I moved into Holsworthy not even knowing what area it was. I moved from Bath, so that's quite far afield. And then came here and everyone wants everything off you straight away, like electricity money and stuff like that. So I just then basically went to Citizens Advice and said, what can I do? And they gave me a voucher for this place and said, come along and you'll be able to get a food package to be able to help you out.
A Waitrose van arrived at the door, and the driver came in and said, is this the food bank? Well, I've got a delivery for you. He said, but it's not from Waitrose, it's from an anonymous donor. And we then received tray after tray after tray of food. Well, between 250 and 300 pounds worth of food there. At Christmas, when one of the local primary school teachers suggested to the children that they might bring a food gift to give to the food bank, and that they would wrap it themselves. So we had all these tiny little parcels done up with beautiful Christmas wrapping paper and little labels which said love from Bobby or love from Sarah. Very, very touching, really, really nice gestures. And that sort of thing's happening all the time.
It makes you feel quite humble, because in many cases you can identify with the fact that it could equally be one of us who was applying for help, and some of the stories are quite distressing. So I think it's something that sadly Holsworthy needs. I think we were all a bit shocked to hear that Holsworthy did need it, but I think we're providing a useful function.
If I could repay them, I would. It's really helpful. Twice now I've had to do it, and I've never had the problem before where I haven't had enough money, and it really does get you down. So to know that someone's there to help you is amazing.
As 5 church communities working together, we were very excited about working with children and families, and we wanted to be able to reach out in new ways and do new things. We worked very hard together on preparing the bid, and were absolutely delighted to receive £28,000, which we knew would make a real difference to our communities. We decided it was really important to appoint a children and families worker, so we were delighted when Wendy Bowers was appointed for a 3-year term. She works 8 or 9 hours a week, so one of her priorities has been training teams to help her with the projects and to give them a good, sustained life. We have developed 3 projects. We developed Noah's Ark, which is a preschool group for toddlers and their families. We have developed Messy Church, which meets every month on a Sunday afternoon. And we're now beginning an after-school club, and that will be focusing on godly play. We knew that the traditional Sunday school model was probably not going to work for us, so the great benefit of our projects has been that they're based in our communities, working in our schools, working in the local youth centre, and we're reaching many more families because we're outside of our church walls. But what's also happened is that some of our families are engaging with all-age worship. We have engaged with well over 70 families and well over 100 children who we see on a regular basis. So the projects have far exceeded what we expected. We have had to focus a lot on training. Wendy can't do everything. We're also having to think a lot about the future and what happens at the end of the 3 years, how our parishes continue to sustain the projects financially, and how they begin to develop a life of their own and become integral to the lives of our churches. It's been very hard work, but there is fun in our projects, and we're so pleased to be able to show something of God's love more widely in our community. We face some big challenges, but we're looking forward to meeting them.
They're great stories, aren't they? And they're not the only ones. There are 96 projects of this sort of nature, large and small, running all across the Diocese of Exeter as a direct result of Million for Mission funding.
So what do we need to do now? Well, we need to pray that these people who've become friends of the local church will also become friends of Jesus Christ, his disciples. And we need to be thinking about the pathways that will help this to happen. And finally, we need to ask ourselves an important question. What have we learned? Where is there good practice happening? And where can we replicate it in other parts of our diocese? The Million for Mission Fund was a radical decision, but I'm sure you'd agree with me, it was an excellent one.